make clear in the rules the senators agree to that we are not going to have a bunch of hearsay evidence. That just like with treason, you've got to have two direct evidence witnesses, and this is serious enough. That's what's going to be required. And you go bring people like Alexandra Chalupa, Sean Misko.
By the way, it was just to remind people, Alexandra Chalupa was working as a sort of liaison between the Ukraine embassy and the DNC on behalf of Hillary Clinton.
And so Misko went to work for Adam Schiff the day after the call on July 26th, and Abigail Grace was working for Schiff and Eric Ciaramella. Those are fact witnesses. And the four of them, and they would be critical, and that would get us to the very bottom of all of the corruption that involved Ukraine and potentially our U.S. Embassy personnel, NSC, and this whole effort to go get Trump after the first fell flat through the Mueller report.
You know,
but you're exactly
I think Americans
right.
deserve it, right? Because to your point, Congressman, too many people would say, you know, it was just political. It was just political. The Democrats in the House did one thing. The Republicans in the Senate did another. And it's like, no, wait a second. I think Americans deserve to know what the heck happened. And by bringing that all to light, you're doing the country a service. I mean, frankly, I look at this and I feel like I'm in some kind of banana republic sometimes, right? I mean, what the heck is going on? You don't trust the transition of power.
Yep, they didn't, and they haven't, and they want to get rid of the transition of power. But the trouble is, we don't have enough Americans that watch you to know what's going on, and they need to know there are witnesses that not only do not convict President Trump of any high crimes or misdemeanors, but that actually the only convictable people were the Democrats that did hire, well, the Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, they hired a foreigner to intervene in our election named Christopher Steele, and then he talked to Russians, maybe Ukrainians. We know he got Italy involved. We know he got Australia involved. So they're accusing the president of doing what they did and that the president did not do.
Right.
And
no, I mean, and this is the
abusive.
point that he's making, right, in this letter, calling it a war on American
letter.
democracy. Do you think that the term is appropriate? Is this a war on American democracy?
It is a war on the current president and the current Republican Party. It absolutely is.
Is it a war, though, on our system of government?
Yeah. You can't have a democratic republic like we have if you are going to allow one party to go to war with another.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this, you know, Maxine Waters, because she's certainly been a very big critic, but my gosh, I mean, she admits herself that she doesn't have the facts to back up her conspiracy theories. I want the viewer to see this, and I want your reaction. Here we go.
I believe, even though I don't have the facts to prove it, I believe that Putin wanted to lift the sanctions. He's always wanted to lift these sanctions that were placed on him because of his interfering with and incursion into Crimea. And so I believe that they wanted to elect President Trump. And Trump, I believe, agreed, I will always believe this, that he agreed that if he got elected, he would lift those sanctions.
Yeah, she wasn't challenged. You know, she doesn't know her facts. She admits she doesn't know her facts. I mean, what are we dealing in? Conspiracy theory.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And as far as lifting sanctions, the party that lifted the sanctions against Russia was called Obama and Secretary Hillary Clinton, and she rushed over to Russia and in effect said, we know the Bush administration overreacted when you went into Georgia and they put up sanctions and stuff. We're wiping the slate clean, no sanctions. We got a reset button. And all Putin heard is, wow, they don't mind if I invade Crimea and Ukraine. That was a green light to him, and now they blame Trump for this. He stood up. He gave weapons to the Ukrainians that Obama wouldn't give. So anyway, it is, again, it's called projecting. They engage in inappropriate conduct, and then they accuse us of doing just what they did and we didn't do.
I'm with you on that. Just air all the dirty laundry. Go to trial and
you know, let's hear it.
See what's what.
You bet.
Congressman
You bet.
Gomer, good to see you tonight. Thank you. All right, the liberal media just loves Nancy Pelosi.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi threw him a hard fastball.
Speaker Pelosi playing hardball.
You could say she's playing hardball.
House Speaker Pelosi flexing her constitutional muscle.
No surprise they're not covering her district's public defecation problem. San Francisco residents posting pictures of a man actually going to the bathroom in the middle of the aisle of a grocery store. Grocery store I actually used to shop at. That's coming up. Also